Good morning and welcome to Morning Coach. Today, I am so glad you're with us. Hey, it's JB. Super pumped you're here. This is the place to get your day started right. Welcome. And I'm so glad you're here this Monday as we're getting ready to get September started. For those of you brand new, it's cool. Hang in there. You're going to get a lot of information, especially going to December planning. Just stick with us. Sponge it all up right now. Just listen. And there's a lot here, okay? So if you're with us and been with us this year, you know, we're in our due month, which means we're actively working our plan, and you should be working your plan this month. I love September because we're really going to focus on getting the year, buttoned up so we can make 2025 great. So we got a new month ready to go. It's a great time to kind of just step back. If you are new, you're going to want to do our basics, which is, just get started listening to the Coach Cast. And we've got the Metaphysical Morning Ritual. If you haven't done the onboarding, make sure you do. But we want to take time for self-care. We want to listen to the Coach Cast. You want to get here as many days in a row as you can. You want to plan your day with the 7 Ps, which include having the right perspective, setting priorities, focusing on performance, having patience, keeping great posture, staying present, and persisting as you go. We've got our planner that you can work with and, kind of organize. And then if you want to take a picture and send that into the companion, that's great. You can do that. And of course, stop by the community, which is a great place to get accountability, get your questions answered, and support. And with that being said, I've done a couple of special Coach Casts, and I've put them out there. We have got meetups from some of the most amazing people in our community. You should stop by those if you get a chance. Introduce yourself. Very casual. Just come by. We're going to be doing all different types of meetups. If you go in the community and click the meetup button, you can see all the different topics that we're doing and the people that are doing them. It's a great way to get to know people. It's also a great way to get support. Okay. A couple other things that are going on in the community. We got polls now. We're going to be doing some challenges with the leaderboard. We've got some huge announcements coming. We can now embed videos. So when I tell you about a video to go watch, you can go in there and watch it. So really cool things happening within our community. So you get a chance to stop by there. And then this week, we've got a big one. We're going to talk about health as well. This month is about health. It's about fitness. It's about well-being. It's about medical advisors. It's about nutrition. It's about vibrance. I love that word, vibrance. So we're going to be working on those areas this month, and this week specifically, talking about health is wealth. So I got a really great week planned for you. I'm excited about that. We're going to get into our new book study. This is a new one by David Brooks called The Second Mountain. This is one of those deeper books. And as you know, we pick a book a month. Don't have to go buy it. It's up in the Compass if you want to grab it. But this is one of those life-changing kind of books that makes you think about life. Just as we did the Go-Giver last week, now we're going to be getting into the Brooks' Second Mountain, and we're going to talk about some of the depth of what that means as we, a lot of us have climbed the crest of the first mountain, got a lot of egoic things in our lives and able to have tremendous success. And then kind of came back to the valley and said, does this really mean anything? And so Second Mountain kind of is going to discuss that. So we're going to get in that tomorrow. On Wednesday, we're going to talk about what do I mean by self-care? I started off by self-care every day. What the heck does that mean? We're going to get into that Wednesday. Thursday, we've got Ask JB, do I have to train for something? We're going to talk about that the next couple weeks. Really important topic that will help you. On Friday, we got health and money, the combo, why those two things work together. Obviously, Saturday's Dr. Paul. And then Sunday, we got Living Your Best Life. We got a great one. I mean, this is just a great one planned. And health is wealth. If you listen to the special Coach Cast a couple weeks ago, again, we got a lot of new members, so you might not see it, but every once in a while I'll put up a special one. We do it every day, but sometimes I'll also do another one if something significant happens. Like we talked about the community a few weeks ago, and then I talked about the race that I ended up finishing 14th and winning my age group, which was pretty crazy. And the reason I want to bring that up is because in April is a big month. Those of you who've been with me, it's been an up and down thing with me, focused on trying to figure out how I could get as healthy as possible. And the truth is, the reason that I want to get as healthy as possible isn't really about now. It's about the quality of life later. And that's something we got to think about. Yes, I love the competition. I love the fact that I'm competing. I love the fact that at 55, I'm becoming an athlete again. It's a really exciting rebirth. It's something that's given me energy. And it's amazing to even think that I'm an athlete, a competitive athlete that's going to be traveling and competing. Finished 14th. Using the systems that we have here, listening to the CoachCast, taking time for self-care, organizing my plan, and executing on it. Okay? And again, we're talking about health here, but anything that we can do, whether it's business, spirituality, relationships, if we execute on a plan, we're going to get there. Okay? And so I'm executing on that plan being an athlete at 55. So in April, I decided, let's make this change. And so in April, May, June, July, I had my first 5K. 4th of July, my phone fell out. It was crazy. I had to pick up my phone in front of everybody. I still finished 21 minutes some. And then I picked another 5K to run after that. Did that one in 21 minutes. That was a run for Jake. And then I just picked this half marathon last week. And ended up running that in an hour and 40 minutes. Pretty crazy. Great times. 14th overall. Beat a lot of people. So it was a really awesome experience to watch me evolve into somebody that's really healthy in, April? So I started in April, May, June, July, August, September. Less than 5 months. 5 months. I'm in the best shape of my life. And I just dedicate myself to not drinking, focused on my health, eating the right protein, eating the right foods, and training. And I train for something. We're going to talk about that Thursday. We're going to talk about it next week, all week. Because it's really important that if we aren't motivated to get up and do something, you won't. And believe me, my training hasn't been perfect over those 5 months. I haven't been perfect, but I've been doing the Morning Coach system, which is get up, get my mind right, and believe in becoming another person. In that special coach cast, I talked about how in May, I started running, right? And in May, I tried to run a 10K. It wasn't a race or anything, just on my own. And I was dying. Like, I didn't even think I could finish. I'm like, how do these people do these distances? And if you listen to me at any time, you remember me, I'd say, I get bored. I don't want to run more than 5K. It's just ridiculous. And here I am. I mean, I've become a new person. Like, I'm not the same person I was in April. If you met me in April, you wouldn't even know who I am. Like, I've changed. I've changed into an athlete. I'm an athlete now. And I'm training for different things. I'm winning. It's a really amazing experience to transform. And that's what Morning Coach is really about. We are transforming our lives for our best possible life. You know, I mentioned in that special coach cast, you might not have heard it, but, my mom's at the finish line. The reason I'm up here in Indiana is because my mom had a cancer scare. We got through that, but I don't know how much time I've got there. So imagine her being able to be at this, at the finish line back like my old high school football games where she was so proud when I played football and baseball and wrestled and all the sports I played. Now here we are, I don't know, 88. How many years is that? I mean, 35 years later, having that same experience. Do you know how beautiful that is? How awesome that is? Remember, we talked about self-actualization a few weeks ago, right? We talked about this idea of having experiences, these really awesome, profound experiences. That's what it's about. So we're trying to get you to find what those things you can do to have those type of experiences that nobody can take from you. So it's awesome. So we're training for a quality of life. That's what I'm training for. So when I talk to you about health, and I'm not trying to get you to run a marathon, okay, what I'm trying to get you to do is focus on your own health a little bit. Can we get it a little bit better? Can we do a little bit today? That's the Morning Coach system. Now, you don't have to go all in like I do on so many things, but you do have to start, and you have to be consistent. And this is the key thing. It's the consistency in anything we do, whether it's writing a book, whether it's building a business, whether it's working on our spirituality, whether it's building a relationship. It's the consistency that's going to make it work. Let's talk about relationships. Why do most relationships fail? Because people get in there and they have all these, it's all love and teddy bears and chocolate and roses at the beginning. Then all of a sudden people move in, they start seeing the underwear left in the bedroom, not put in a hamper. Is there a hamper everywhere? Is that a word? Is that just something we have in Indiana? Well, anyways, the underwear's not in a hamper. The toothpaste tap's not rolled up, and the OCD kicks in, and you start seeing all the negatives of the other person. Consistency, right? So instead of seeing the roses and the chocolates and the teddy bears, we start seeing the toothpaste off and the underwear left on the floor and the bed not made and all these negative things. And consistently over time, you don't like that person anymore. Like, you've lost that loving feeling. There was a song, "You've lost that love and feeling," right? Same thing in life with everything. If we don't do basic things day by day and just make little subtle changes, that's where it starts to cause problems. Okay. And same thing with people that are very unhealthy. It took years to get them there. So it's going to take some time to get you back to healthy. But there's no judgment. Just start working. Too many people aren't doing anything. And that's what bothers me, right? It's like, let's start doing something. Health is wealth. I don't care how much money you have, you can't buy health. One of the reasons I'm falling in love with running is because I play golf. Golf's a sport you can go drink a 12-pack of beer and go out there and play and actually play decently, right? You can't drink a 12-pack of beer and run an hour and 40-minute, half marathon that I just did 13 miles last week. You just can't do it. This is actually a physically challenging thing that I absolutely love. That's why I love it. I get so much more satisfaction than winning on the golf course. So it's just me. It's like, it's not everybody can do this. It's me. It's the effort that I'm putting in. That's why I love it. But I want you to be thinking about you. What are the things that you can do, that you can train, that will help your quality of life later? That's the key. It's funny, Neo. You know my dog Neo. If you've ever seen Neo, many of you know Neo. Chris, you always ask pictures of Neo when I'm doing my webinars and stuff. Neo's the first dog I ever met with vets. Susan Garrett, who's a friend of mine. Some of you know her. She's a real championship trainer, big on the internet. And she says, why don't you do raw? And I said, gosh, it's expensive. It's like $200 a month to feed Neo raw food. I give him some kibble. Just because he's a lab and he has an empty stomach, that labs have a real hard time with it. So if you give him some kibble, like it's like cereal at night, stays in their stomach. But he eats primarily raw food. And I said, it's so expensive. Do we really want to do that? And she said, you'll either pay for it now or you'll pay for it later. It was some of the best advice that I've ever given, because I can tell you with our health, you're either going to pay for it now or you're going to pay for it later. And what is our quality of life going to be like later? Right? And so not only is your quality of life better now by making health something, one of your goals, but it also helps your quality of life later. And that's so important. So one of the big things we're going to do, and those of you can get up in the community, right? And talk a little bit. We're working on a new planning system. So in the planning system, I'm going to have an area for health. We're going to have HRV, some water tracking, nothing crazy. I mean, you're not going to have to, put in there, I did 16 bicep curls, nothing, but just some basic overall health stuff that we should all be looking at. And if you have something you'd like to add, that'd be great. Scott came in and said, hey, do you do intermittent fasting? So fasting is not something I do. It's not something I've done, and but I kind of do it because I end up going to bed about 8 or 9, and I end up eating at like 5 or 6, and I don't eat before I train in the morning. So I don't eat. I eat probably about 9, 10 o'clock is when I'll consume some food. Now I'll have some ketones and stuff, but I don't eat. So I'm actually fasting a pretty long time. So it's kind of intermittent fasting, but it's not planned. But Scott said, hey, would you be open to a section for intermittent fasting? So yeah, we're open to ideas. My point is, if you're working something specifically on health, we're going to have mobility and flexibility, which is something that's so critical that I neglected for a long time. Even in the last few months, that's why I pulled my hamstring a couple months ago, because I wasn't doing my flexibility and mobility, which is now a big part of my life. We have strength training, right? We have water intake. We have a little bit of a cardiovascular. So we're going to be bringing that stuff into the planner. If you have any suggestions, it'd be great. Oh, and I'm making a pie graph for macros, for protein, carbohydrates, and fats, which I absolutely love. So it's just like you can fill it in, kind of like, hey, I did this much, I ate this much protein. Now, here's the deal with all this stuff, and I think it's really important, is that we don't want to get so detailed in your plan that you don't execute. This is really important. That's why we're simplifying our planners and simplifying the things we do. If you're just getting started, all you have to do is show up and listen and do your sacred 6 every day. What are the priorities? That's what I want you focused on. All this other stuff, we're going to make simple processes. So it's like, okay, I can track my food a little bit. You don't have to get I have this app, which is called MyFitnessPal. I don't even do it half the time. Why? Because it's just pain. It's, too much time. But if I go in there and color out and hey, I think I had about 20 grams of protein here. I think I had some fat, and it just keep things simple. Okay. That's what I'm going to tell you about the health stuff. My training is getting pretty intense. I'm getting some new technology, which is a little bit different. But when it comes to tracking and doing things, let's keep things simple, okay, especially with our planners. So I'd love to have you stop by, is my point, and have a discussion as we get more and more mock-ups together for our 2025 planner. I want to make this amazing. Like, this is going to be an amazing planner that you use day and day that will tie right into our CoachCast and then go right to our meetups and community. I mean, this system's just going to be just off the charts as we get closer to 2025. And a lot of that is credit to you. A lot of that's credit to Jurgen and Karen, and I don't want to miss anybody, Roxanne, Lori. There's so many people that are help Martin and Vitas, and so many people around the world are contributing here. That Dez is brand new, just coming in. There's so many people that are contributing. I don't want to forget anybody. So point is, there's a lot of people, and that's why this is getting better, because it's a community-driven thing. So if you get a chance to stop by, that would be great. But let's get off to a great week. Health is wealth. Let's focus on health. Let's try to pick something we can train for. We're going to talk about that next couple of weeks. If you want to post in the community, that'd be great. Let me know. Hey, JB, I'm going to do this or that, or maybe I'm going to Zumba class, whatever it is. You pick what you want to do, and we'll get into that more and more as we get into the week. We'll talk about that Thursday, particularly on why it's important we are doing something. But let's just have some fun today. Let's have some fun and put some great energy out there. Listen, if you're brand new, just listen to CoachCast, do the basics. If you've been with me for a long time, just listen to CoachCast, do the basics. And really, let's start working on executing on your plan, which we're in a do month. Make sure we're checking some boxes today. Okay? So lots of love to you. Get out there, have a great one, and I'll be back with more right here tomorrow on MorningCoach.com.